Thanks again, Mr. Cabby. It sure
So
is
this
lucky
episode was the first time that I ever combined two episodes into one, something that I really tried to avoid, successfully, as it turns out, in Berserk. But going into Gantz, I knew that I'd have to do this eventually, because the pacing is so off in the anime. They drag it out so long. I really think they could have just taken the whole thing up through the end of the Buddha arc, fit that into 13 episodes, cut out the crap filler, and it would have been a great 13-episode season, and they could have just gone on from there. Sadly, that's not how it worked out. But I actually considered changing around the sequence of events even more in this episode, because the next episode has Kato dealing with his own bully problems, and this episode, the first half, which is the adaptation of episode 5, is, of course, Kurono dealing with his bully problems. So I thought maybe I'd just take those two ideas and put those together into one episode, and then have episode 6 be its own episode. Eventually, I decided, no, probably safer to just stick with the order of events as they're presented in the original, and just condense a goodly bit. Because there's a lot of stuff that I cut out in order to condense this into just one episode. There's this whole subplot with Kato and his little brother and finding an apartment so they don't have to live with their abusive aunt, which is just gets so repetitive that, yeah, it was just not interesting at all. It's like, we get it, Kato's home life sucks, move on. Then it's just not funny, it's depressing, so screw it, it's out. So, the return of not the salaryman, but a salaryman here. The running joke that I never planned. But then I seldom plan my running jokes, they just kind of happen. But the character designs were similar enough that it's like, hey, he looks like his kid. Hey, he'll be his kid, sure, why not? And then this whole meanwhile later that day, I'm glad people liked that. That was kind of one of those jokes of necessity to transition into the next scene. And then I honestly forget which one actually came first. I know I actually didn't see his version until later, but Ganjing Ba did a similar-ish gag with transitions in his Avatar Abridged. And you ever see a joke that's so good that it actually pisses you off? That's how I felt about Ganjing Ba's version, because it was so much better than mine, where he just said, "Transitional freeze!" and then made a whole runner out of it. Shoot bop bibbida bebop boop! I saw that and thought, God damn it, that's what I should have done! That's awesome, and I'll never get to use it, because he did it first. Fuck. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Now this whole bit with Kurono and Kishimoto and their awkward conversation here is once again one of those scenes that's almost just ripped straight from the original version, because it's pretty freaking hilarious just as is. There wasn't much to improve on that other than, you know, changing the delivery a little bit, throwing in one or two more like, you know, real jokes, but just like little delivery bits like that.
No, don't be silly.
It's totally sexual. As you've probably noticed, I love putting Freudian slips like that in there. But this was the scene where I was just so happy with Cassius' performance. You know, like scenes like this, I depended so much on the delivery, and I hadn't heard much of, you know, Cassius' voice work up until this point. Not in the sense of actually, like, playing a character, that is. I'd heard her voice in her Life Abridged Countdown, and I knew that she had a pleasant enough voice, but I had no idea, honestly, if she could act. And when the lines came back for this, just like all fears laid to rest, like, yes, this is going to work. This is going to be awesome. So I was quite happy with how this turned out. Kurono's voice goes way up because he's so excited he thinks he's getting laid. Yay! Now this whole bit with the news reporter was a total last-minute addition. This whole scene was originally planned to be a Lanny Pator cameo. He was going to show up as the Neighborhood Watch Committee. And he was really busy for one reason or another, I forget why, and didn't get the lines to me. And so eventually I just said, you know what, screw it, I'm not going to delay this episode anymore. I'll just write around it and cut out Lanny Pator's part. And that's where where the whole bagel bit came from, because I was just, sitting there trying to think, okay, I just need to get from scene A to scene B, where he's buying the condoms, and I had the joke with the condoms and the comic books already planned out, and so I was just, writing this dialogue, and as I tend to do when writing dialogue, or in this case a monologue, just riffing and riffing and riffing and keeping going, and I think I was eating a bagel at the time, so that turned into one of those key running gags, one of those that's easily transferable to other series too, so a lot of people will ask to use that, to the point where I finally made an Ask HBI 2K video, essentially just saying, yes, don't bother asking permission, just fucking do it. If you think you have a good idea, and it fits well, then do it. You have my blessing if you feel you need it. Because once again, everything I'm doing is stolen in one sense or another from either the original anime or Futurama as often as not, or whatever, so I can't exactly throw stones here.
You want to have sex with me?
Well, yeah. This bit coming up in a second here where he says that he wants to nail her like a 2x4. I came really, really close to using the line, drill you like Gurren Lagann instead. But to be honest, at the time, I'd only seen 1, maybe 2 episodes of Gurren Lagann, so I honestly wasn't sure if I was even getting the reference right. I had to think back, like, is Gurren Lagann the name of the mech? Does he drill things? I'm not sure. So I didn't want to fuck it up and look like an ass, so I did change it, but only because I knew that there was going to be another similar line coming up a couple of episodes down the line, so I could safely go back and reuse the line. And it worked out, because when I did finally use that line, Gurren Lagann had just exploded in popularity between this and that episode, because I think it wasn't even officially licensed at the time that I did this, so I think it worked out a lot better that way, because yeah, that is a pretty good line. And a little Flight of the Conchords here. This is great stuff, because I think this just, like, epitomizes Kurono's views of women. I think anybody who's ever been a 14, 15-year-old guy can relate to this, where you know it's totally stupid and fucked up and misogynistic, and you hate yourself for feeling this way, but sometimes there's that girl who honestly is so hot, it actually pisses you off. Like, I am so hot and bothered, and I do not want to be this fucked up in the head by how fucking hot you are, you bitch! But hopefully we all grow out of that sooner or later. Alright, see you guys next time.